Let's get one thing very clear off the top. There are only 4 good Halo games, 1 through 3 and Reach. Honorable mention to Wars, but I feel like there probably aren't a lot of RTS nerds out there like myself. Welcome back to Wars of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol, and yes, if you hadn't seen the discourse on Twitter, the Act Man and Melanie Mack have been going at it pretty voraciously over the new Halo announcement. Is it woke? Are these fake gamers making a controversy out of nothing? And because I'm smarter than both of them, I'm going to go ahead and give you my 2 cents. And we're going to start with a post by Smash JT, which I think is actually really indicative of a lot of problems, regardless of where you sit on either side of the culture war when it comes to woke this, anti-woke that, whatever it may be. Smash says, currently writing my Halo article in preparation for my video coverage. What do you notice? And 343 that created the Halo Master Chief Collection, and compared to what like these days over 343, I can't help but see bloat. Yes! Whether we want to talk about, before we even get into, oh, look at this new black head of staff, look at all the pronouns in our bios, this, that, and the other. This is problem numero uno. Like, I agree that wokeness is an issue and something that we need to absolutely destroy. That being said, studio bloat is a far bigger problem because even if we have, everything we would like to see ideologically imposed, if you got too many cooks in the kitchen, your game is still going to come out half-baked and bad. Oddly enough, how that math works. But yes, I think Act Man and Melanie Mack are both morons in this situation. But what is the situation? Maybe you don't know about it. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the quick version, the rundown. So we got this right here from Pirate Nation. Halo is officially dead. This is the new chief of staff over at 343, which has been renamed Halo Studios. Changing the name isn't going to change anything. It's still so many of the members of 343, but whatever. It'll make people feel better that, oh, this portion of the studio is going to only focus on Halo. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. If Halo ain't been good in 15 plus years, I'm not putting stock in it now. So, 2013, Halo is all about Master Chief's personality. 2015, Halo is all about being competitive. 2019, Halo should be an open world live service free to play. Halo 1 was only good because it had graphics. Our new game will have good graphics, so it will be good too. It's all so tiresome. And this is kind of a reductive way to say something that was said. I mean, in that launch trailer with that little teaser, they did say that Halo was cutting edge graphically when it came out, and it was. But for those of you that weren't there when the first Halo popped off, bro, it was cutting edge. I've been playing video games since the 90s. My first system was either a SNES or a Genesis. I don't know which I got first. I was playing both at the same time. The Dreamcast came out, and my little mind was blown. To this day, the Dreamcast is my favorite system. But when the Xbox came out, I didn't immediately get an Xbox. So, no, we were a little bit behind the curve. My uncle, though, had an Xbox, and about a couple years into its life cycle, he gave it to us. And I remember getting Halo Combat Evolved. Now, I remember so many nights with my buddies talking mad trash, drinking way too much soda, eating way too many Cheetos, and just killing the ever-living shit out of one another. And then Halo 2 released. And Halo 2 was a literal game changer. I mean, there's a pun there, but no pun intended. It was a game changer. But let's talk about this Melissa Boone chick, who is now the chief of staff for modern Halo. Hi, currently I'm the Chief of Staff at Halo Studios, the steward of the Halo franchise. My role is to ensure smooth running at our studio. It includes a little bit of everything. I'm a problem solver, a process builder, a strategic thinker, an executor. I almost said executor, like the Pokemon. An executor, an integration and communicator, and an advisor. Basically the best job ever for someone who has a lot of interest, who likes to stay busy, and possesses a healthy passion for military science fiction games and lore. Now, the big red flag here, I guess in this case rainbow flag, is obviously the rainbow flag, because we've seen ideologies absolutely destroy video games for the last God knows how many years. It's been happening quite a bit, but you know what, just reading that bio, that's not too bad, right? Oh boy, are we wrong. There are some red flags here. Here's the dealio. These are going to be red flags regardless of the series. Doesn't matter if it's Halo, doesn't matter if it's Insomniac, Spider-Man, doesn't matter if it's Super Mario Bros. You see this sort of thing, red flag is going to pop up. Let's read this about page. Melissa joined Xbox Research in the summer of 2015 after earning her BA in psychology from Spelman College in 2008. Melissa went on to complete her PhD in social psychology and public health from Columbia University. Okay, already we got a red flag there. I don't want somebody who's got a doctorate in social psychology making video games. I want sweaty nerds who grew up in their mother's basement who ended up, just working on IT shit for fun to be the ones making video games. Let's be real. There's a very different type of mindset that would, want to crack a video game because they took apart their dad's remote control when they were a kid and they need to put it back together before he got home so they weren't in trouble, versus somebody that thought, I'm real interested in how the human mind works. The two just don't coincide. Now, if you want to maybe write a video game that has that as a theme, sure, go for it. But that's not the person writing the game isn't going to be the chief of staff at the studio. Her research into public health focused on how people's social interactions influence the risk for HIV and substance abuse, particularly with African Americans and Latinx folks, LGBTQ plus people, and women. Oh, it got so much worse, didn't it? Again, what does any of this have to do with video games, and why should I trust this individual to shepherd in a new era of what was once one of the most heralded franchises of all time? But also how these people's personal resilience could be developed and supported to help them avoid poor health outcomes. Melissa did a stint conducting market research in video games, which was so much fun and inspired her to make the leap to the games world. Look, I'm glad you had fun doing some weird little psychological research project on gamers, the same gamers you probably hate because you think they're all white, white supremacists, racist, misogynists who are also transphobic. And while all that might be true, that's again, you're not the person I want at a game studio. In fact, you're the kind of person that I want. I wish we had sort of like a 500 yards rule, kind of like people that diddled in front of kids. Now they're not allowed in schools. I wish we had things like that for people with multicolored hair and pronouns in their bios in front of game studios. Yep, nope, here's the order, 500 feet away, you're not even able to enter the building. If you love games so much, go back home, make an indie game, put it on Steam, see what happens. Don't just be handed a multi-billion-dollar IP. But it goes on to say, currently, Melissa manages research across several Xbox franchises and experience, including Ninja Theory, Compulsion Games, Double Fine Studios, Xbox Store. She also leads research in diversity, inclusion, those two dreaded words, and then to add, and accessibility, so in this case it's DIA instead of DEI, across Xbox games and experiences with focus on making Xbox a place where everyone has fun. Well, let me tell you, that's impossible, because you can't please everyone, and if that's the route you're going, you are only going to serve to upset everybody, save for the very small minority of individuals that do share the same worldview you share. But in her free time, Melissa enjoys games of all kinds, video, board, card, table talk, when she's not mashing buttons, bidding 5 impossible, or trapezing through the forbidden realms. I think you mean Forgotten Realms. I can't take you seriously as a D&D fan, because I'm pretty sure you're supposed to say Forgotten Realms there. But anyway, you can find her curled up on a rainy Seattle morning. Well, there's another red flag, Seattle. Well, we already know where this is going. The fantasy or speculative fiction or anything really, listening to music or out enjoying the great outdoors of the Pacific Northwest. Now, I highly doubt that as well, because look at the way this bitch is built. Yeah, probably not the best when it comes to the great outdoors, just if I had to wager a guess. But then we got Jay Viper here, and Jay Viper says, Halo Studios already failing every smell test. First, the chief of staff that focuses on DEI, but the creative designer is this guy, the guy who's afraid of guns and still rocks the trans flag paired with the Palestinian flag. They aren't promoting their best, and yes, homie really did say, I honestly don't think I could work on a game that glorifies or fantasizes modern guns, COD, Battlefield, RB6. I've had moments I've struggled with Halo, but the weapons and world is pretty sci-fi, which creates a large enough separation from reality. This is the guy that is the creative designer, the one who could barely handle Halo. And these were all red flags, and frankly, Melanie Mack kind of took all this to an extreme, because here I've laid out all the red flags that I personally do see and think we're going to continue to see, but even if none of these were here, Halo still probably wouldn't be good, because we have the industry bloat, and we've got the pattern recognition to notice that Halo has been garbage for many, many years now. But you know what? I did start off agreeing with Melanie. I think at first she was making some pretty good points. The problem is, Melanie did here what Melanie frequently does, and devolves into absolute madness. But in this instance, I think she's 100% correct. Older games had better art with inferior tech. Now, if you ask me, Leon, which I like better between these two, 100% this one. 100%. This does not look better. It looks more graphically capable, but it does not look better. I prefer this look, and not just because of nostalgia. No, I think that the muted colors, the more video game aesthetic is just better than this attempt at realism here. That honestly, looks like a Bandai Namco action figure, something you would buy, at the comic shop to promote a game, than it does a shot from a video game. I cannot stand the attempted, brushes forward for realism in video games. Frankly, it's making all games look the same, bland, boring, and, there's literally nothing about that that's an ideological bend. It's not right, it's not left, it's not woke, it's not anti-woke. I just don't like the visual style, so I agree. And then she says, just gonna say it, they made Master Chief look softer and less intimidating. Once again, I actually do agree with her. Compare this to this. Again, this looks like a toy. It really does. This looks like a badass video game character. Because Unreal Engine, because graphics have gotten so good and so realistic, it looks soft. She chose a great word for this. This is about the last time she makes a good point. Here she goes, Master Chief is supposed to be huge. Here's me at 5'7" with a 1-to-1 size kneeler for scale. The last Unreal Engine teaser isn't doing him justice. Now, while the last Unreal Engine is not doing him justice, look, I maybe that kneeler's 1-to-1, I don't know, but also, I grew up playing Halo. The Needler always looked like one of the smaller guns in the franchise. It's like, oh man, back in Men in Black, like the noisy cricket, Will Smith would shoot it, and even though it was a tiny little midget cricket, it would shoot him back like 8 feet. That's kind of the Needler. Also, the Needler's a gay-ass gun. I never liked the Needler. Needler sucked. But no, maybe that's a 1-to-1 scale, or they just say that and didn't actually do the math. They just want to put out some merch. Either way, I completely disagree with her assessment here. But it goes on. Woke consumers, stop complaining to us played Halo before they were born. Now, I do believe that Melanie Mack played Halo. I don't subscribe to this idea that she's a fake gamer girl who's only using this stuff for clout and clicks. No. Melanie Mack has made her assessments of the gaming community pretty accurately. She knows what she's talking about a lot of the times, and then takes it too far into the realm to where she then doesn't know. But for anyone coming out saying she's a fake gamer girl, yeah, I don't see it. And this is the tweet that lost me and everyone else. I posted this a million times. He doesn't have a womanly figure in Halo 1. People are just making excuses or don't understand basic anatomy. Look, there's nothing about this second image that is womanly. I'm gonna be real. Now, does it look good? No, I've already said I don't like the way it looks. But the dude's just wearing thick, badass combat armor that, unfortunately, because of the traps and failings of modern gaming, just looks bad. Like this is not a feminist issue. They're not feminizing Master Chief. They did that already enough in that god-awful television show. No, this is just a horrible artistic design that in no way, shape, or form, correlates to male or female. It's also in bad faith, in my opinion, to use these two side by side when they don't have the same pose, they're not standing at the same angle. Yeah, that's also when games were just frankly made differently back then, and then we didn't have these concepts of gender this, masculine that, feminine that. This is a bad faith argument, and this should be chalked up to they don't know what they're doing from a character design standpoint, not, oh, look at this woke trash. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure that's going to be there, but that's not what they're doing in that instance, or at least it doesn't come off that way. And then she says, another case of a self-insert. I mean, okay, so the dude's the producer for the Halo. I don't think... Look, Master Chief can be a self-insert for anyone. If you play the games, we never see his face. He's a driven, passionate super soldier that has a job to do. He's gonna do it. He's a very basic character archetype. I don't think some bald dude who wishes he was Bruce Willis taking a selfie is enough to call it a self-insert. But then we got Old Man Grimm here. I didn't have the At-Man threatens to bully Melanie Mack on my 2024 bingo card. What a fucking clown this douchebag has become. And yes, I agree. Now, what Melanie Mack has been saying is absolutely retarded, insane, ridiculous, borderline obsessive with the culture war. But the At-Man ain't exactly looking great here either, and frankly, I would say that he's the one that looks worse because we all sort of expect this stuff from Melanie Mack. His instigations and the fact that he can't accurately make a coherent point makes him come off as worse. He could have ended tried to be the bigger person, but he would rather stoop so low as to go to pejorative potshots. I'm usually a big advocate for the mentally disabled, but this take is dog shit. I have to make an exception. Now, I agree with him to take his dog shit, but, calling her mentally disabled is not a way to just start off strong. You already look like you're losing the battle, because without any sort of interaction, you jump directly to insulting the individual on a personal level. Never a good look. Though he looked kind of like an action figure, hey, that's what I said, he looked like a woman is one hell of a wild-ass take that I couldn't even make up. I agree with what you said, Michael, 100%. By the standards of 2024, the original Combat Evolved armor looks like an action figure, which means this interpretation is right on the money in terms of replicating the art style from Combat Evolved. Hard disagree. The original Combat Evolved, you can pop on to this day, and it does not look like an action figure. It looks like a game that would have been released in 2001, because it was, but it does not look like an action figure. It looks like what you would see in a badass dystopian sci-fi setting. I mean, he is absolutely reaching here. He's stretching. That is why normal individuals who aren't so obsessed with the woke stuff are calling out the bad look of this armor without resorting to saying it's feminine or whatnot. Because there is a notable difference here. They're not recapturing anything. They are, in fact, making it worse. And then it goes on. She's never had a good take. Disagree. Like, ever. I don't know if she even plays games, so all she do is complain. Yes, Melanie is a gamer. There's a long history to establish that. You just have to, I don't know, take a look at it with a critical eye. I don't know why a bunch of fake gamers are coming out of the woodwork to try and co-opt the Halo series, but these people weren't bullied enough in high school, and I aim to correct that. Okay, so I agree that we need to bring back bullying, maybe bring back bullying the right crowd. Now, by all means, correcting Melanie Mack, especially from someone who traditionally is on the same ideological side as her, I think is pretty fair. Hey, Melanie, I think you're wrong about this. Or not at least wrong, you were correct in the first half, but man, you're really overdoing it in the overtime section. That being said, yeah, calling her a fake gamer, saying they're coming out of the woodwork to try and co-opt Halo. Homie, everyone agrees Halo has been trash for years. No one's co-opting anything. People want Halo to be good again. We want to see the franchise be awesome again. But lo and behold, you are so stuck in this fantasy that gaming isn't in dire straits, that gaming isn't dying, that you're willing to make up whatever narrative that you can because you're upset at her narrative, when really both of you have the incorrect narrative. The correct narrative is Halo has sucked. What can we do to fix it? And why is what's going on with Halo Studios now not going to fix it? Let's see. The angle and arm covering the hips makes it look more feminine, but overall the design is a bit rounded and safe. It's a bit of a stretch, but calling it totally dogshit take is kind of disingenuous as well. We got Ill-Tempered Tuna here. He is trying to play both sides, which I appreciate because, frankly, I don't disagree with what he said. This is a comparison between graphics from a 2001 game and an unreleased game that could come out in 2025. No! This is not a comparison of graphics. This is a comparison of character design. Graphics do not matter when talking about character design. You can look at Spyro the Dragon on the PS1 and look at Spyro from Skylanders, and graphics aren't the problem. They fundamentally redesign his character in an uglier fashion. It does not matter if you're looking at the PS1 graphics or not. So again, flat out wrong. All I care about is the art style is respected, and it clearly is. But again, I don't think it is. Now, if you want to have a disagreement or a discussion about that, fair enough, we can have that. But no, the art style, in my opinion, at least for the character design, is not being respected. Now, I did watch the footage, and the Unreal Engine 5 footage, and I'm not a big Unreal Engine 5 guy, but I will say, the art style of the environments is being respected. Now, are they respecting that too much to where it's, at a loss for the actual character models? That could also be the case. To me, it looks like a modern take on armor set from 2021, or from 2001. Well, yep, I completely disagree. And then the Ant-Man sealed his fate with this retarded-ass comment right here. Getting real sick of these pussy-ass political ideologues masquerading as gaming content creators who only serve to invade our gaming space and shove a political agenda down the throats of anyone unfortunate enough to consume their dog shit content. These parasites make me sick. Hold on, hold that phone. There might be some incoming calls. Ignore them. Don't care if it's your mama. I got something to say, you absolute retard. Political ideologues masquerading as gaming content creators? Whoa, why can't we just be gamers who've noticed a very startling industry trend over the course of the last several years, actually starting with the original Gamergate, that we are trying to fix because we do care about the problems, we do care about the issues, and we want to see the medium at its finest without any political aspects to it, left or right. I don't want a pro-2A game, and I don't want a pro-communism game. I want a game that I can just sit back and relax and play while not worrying about the oncoming World War III and whether Kamala or Trump is going to be the best president. By the way, spoiler alert, it's obviously Trump. Anyone voting for Kamala is retarded. But that doesn't mean I want games to tell me that one way or the other. We are not sitting here, oh, let's try and impart our politics into video games. We want the opposite. Politics out across the board. And unfortunately, there's been a wide swath of individuals like, who's been hired at Halo Studios who has done nothing but force their politics into games, and gamers are getting tired of it. The idea that you would just ignore that half, the idea that you would sit back and, you know what, this is a good take, I'm tired of these right-wing gamer chuds, many of which aren't right-wing, by the way, way, many of which who I've talked to, donated to Andrew Yang or voted for Bernie Sanders, or hell, can go back to the point where they say they voted for Obama or whatnot, and even they see this drastic sharp turn into the political, can think, yo, this is a problem. So yes, if you want to call this, the political, dog whistling, and they call us ideologues, well, guess what? It's only because this gaming community that you love so much, that you claim to love so much, they're in our gaming space. Well, if you don't realize that space was co-opted by insane ideologues on the opposite side of the aisle, then you really are in an echo chamber. You truly have been living under a rock, or you're being disingenuous and you agree with these individuals, so you want to see that message promoted. So, yeah, both sides inherently retarded. Melanie Mack, so much so for saying, oh, Halo woke now, or Halo feminine now. Don't get me wrong, it probably will be, but going just based off the character design in that one image, that's not good enough. Maybe look at the individual who's put in charge, and then her underling who have all the reddest of flags, so much so that a bull will charge at them. Or you can take a look at the Ant-Man side and think that, wow, he's just gonna blanket assume that anyone who's making commentary about the modern state of games and tying it to politics, because politics has infested everything for the last 10 to 15 years. How are you both this retarded, and when can you get some sanity back? And Ant-Man, I got a personal problem with you, if I'm being 100% honest, because you decided to make this big dog and pony show about wanting to understand why people are so upset about wokeness in gaming. And you know what? I sent you a DM. I was like, I would love to have this conversation with you, because frankly, as somebody who thinks the culture war is taking too far on both sides, and the word woke has been overused, just like the word racist or misogynistic, I think that I'm uniquely qualified to have a very down-the-middle centrist, opinion and conversation with you that maybe you could take a step back and respect. But instead, nah, you ignored me. I know Trey sent you the same message. You ignored him as well. So really, you're not looking to have a good faith conversation. You're looking to, clout chase. You're looking to get controversy stoked so that you can get more views on what I would assume is your dying channel. I wouldn't know if it's dying or not because I haven't watched you in a good couple years because you sort of fell off. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, or you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Not usually about what's going on with drama two creators of the video game industry, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles we go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos we react to on our Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved with over 130 vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further because we do care about diversity, but only one kind of diversity. Diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.